Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are required to find the next two terms of each sequence here. So come, let's focus on part A first. Do take note for part A. Observe that in this sequence we are always adding 2 to the previous term. Yeah? And therefore, I will be able to get part A pretty straightforward. The first 4 term is given, the next 2 terms, so the 5th term. Which is T5 will then be equals to 17. I'm going to add 2 to it. That will give me 19. And the next term, which will be the number 6 term, will then be 21. Alright, and let's move on to part B. Well, for part B, do observe that in the sequence that is given, we are actually adding 5 to the previous term. Negative 20 plus 5 is negative 15. Negative 15 plus 5 equals to negative 10. And so, that's what we just have to do to find the 5th and 6th term. So for part B, the 5th term would then be negative 5 plus 5. This will give me 0. And the 6th term, which again, of course, going to add 5 to the 5th term. And we have come to the end of this part of the video. So if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are required to find the next 2 terms of each sequence. Alright, so for part A, let's observe. Do observe that we are actually multiplying by 3 to the previous term. And therefore, this means that for part A, the next 2 term will be my 5th term and my 6th term. Okay, so my 5th term would then be equals to 9 times 3, 27. And my 6th term, which is the second term, the next second term, 27 times 3, 81. Well, for part B, do observe that we are actually multiplying again. But this time round, we are actually multiplying by negative 4. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Negative 20 times negative 4 will become positive 20. So right, I hope you guys realize that every time when there is a change of sign from positive to negative value, most likely we are actually multiplying by a negative number. Okay, so that is the first clue. So for part B, which I will write it here, my next 2 term would then be pretty straightforward already. all I need is to multiply by -4 2 times. Yeah, and that will give, this will give me 1280, and this will give me -5120. Alright, let's move on to part C. And just to make sure that it's tidy, I'm going to just draw a line. Okay. For part C, do take note that what is the pattern? Yes, we are always, you can see it as divide by 5. We always divide by 5, or we are actually multiplying by 1/5. And 2 times 1/5 is 2/5. 2/5 times 1/5 is 2/15. And therefore we will be able to get the next 2 terms quite easily. Yeah. So my next 2 terms, which is my 5th and 6th term, will be as follows. Two over 125, and my 6th term this will be a value of 2 over 625. And for the last part, part D. What do we notice? Yes, first there is a change in sign. That means we are actually multiplying by a negative number. And what's the next observation? Yes, we are actually multiplying by -0.1, because I do see that the number of decimal place keep on increasing by 1. So we are in fact multiplying by -0.1 each time. And therefore for this part of the for this question, this number sequence, next 2 term will then be simply to multiply by -0.1. So it's -0.001. I like to put bracket every time I deal with a negative value. This will give me 0.0001 for decimal place, and my 6th term would then be from positive to negative and 5 decimal place. Alright, and we have come to the end of this video. For this part of the video, if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are given the general term nice, TN. Alright, so when they talk about the first 3 terms, they are essentially asking us to find what is the term t when n equals to 1, 2, and 3. So all we have to do is therefore to substitute n as 1. So this will be 2 times 1 plus 1. This will give me 3. This means I substitute the n with 2. This will give me 5. And I'm going to substitute n as 3. This will give me 7. And I'm going to repeat this for the next number pattern. So now the general term is 7 minus 3n, meaning minus 3 times 1. This will give me 4. T2 will be equals to this. And the third term will then be substitute n as 3, negative 2. Done. Alright, and we shall move on to part C, where the term is two bracket n minus 1, so it's 1 minus 1 bracket square, and this will give me a value of 0. T2 will be equals to 2 times n is 2 now, minus 1 bracket square. This will give me 2. And now my n is 3. This will give me a value of 8. And last part, part D. So now my n is equals to 1. Oops. So it's 1 over 1 plus 2. This will give me 1 over 3, 1/3. T2 is 2 over 2 plus 2. That will give me 1 over 2. That's the final answer. And my T3 is 3 over 3 plus 2, 3 over 5. So just to sum it up, every time where we are given the general term already and we are asked to find any term, we just need to know the position of the term. In this case, the first 3 terms simply relates to the case where n is equals to 1, 2, and 3, and we just need to substitute the n as the position. In this case, 1, 2, and 3. Yep, and after which we can then make use of our calculator to find the final answer. With that, we have come to the end of this part of the video. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are given the general term. So let's see how we can make use of this general term. Oh, for part A. Which term, that means which number and in the sequence has a value of negative 250. This simply means that since I got the general term already, all I have to do is, now they are telling me that this term is equal to negative 250. So I just have to equate negative 19 and minus 3 equals to negative 250. Okay, because they are telling me that the term is equal to negative 250. And once you equate that, you can then see that we can find the value of n pretty easily. So I'm going to add 3 on both sides such that I'm left with negative 19n here. I will have negative 250 plus 3. Okay, this will be equal to 0. So I don't need to write it anymore. So I will have negative 247 here. And after which, I am going to divide by negative 19 on both sides. So that when you have negative 19 divided by negative 19, I will get 1n. And as for here, I am going to divide by negative 19 to give me the final answer. My n is equals to 13. So it is the 13th term in the sequence. Now for part B, how then can I check whether which number or any given number in this case is indeed in the sequence or not? So all I have to do, I just need to replicate what we did in part A. We equate this into the general term. And we check and find the value of n. Okay? So the rule is that if n is representing any position in a term, if this negative 344 is indeed a number in this sequence, the n should be a positive integer. Okay? So let's see. Let's find the value of n now. So repeating what we have done in part A. So this will be how the working looks like. Okay? And I'm going to divide by 19, negative 19 on both sides. And in this case, I realize that it gives me a mixed number and not an integer. So the final conclusion is that since n is equals to 17, 18 over 19 is not a positive integer, or it's not a whole number, both are accepted. Okay, negative 344 is not a term in the sequence. With that, we have come to the end of this video. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are given a number sequence and we need to find the general term in terms of n. Okay, so the very first observation that we need to see is that whether we can have a number sequence that is by a common difference. That means we always add or minus by the same number. And the first observation here is that we are always minusing by this same number, negative, minus 2, yeah? And therefore, the common difference is this negative 2. And so for part A, right, this question, I will be able to make use of this formula. Tn is equals to T0, which is the term before T1, plus Dn, where n is the number that we always add or subtract by. So in this case here, it will be minus 2. Okay, so we have successfully get a D. What about my T0? Okay, T0, all we have to do is to let me just zoom in, zoom out first so that it's easier. So for T0, the 0th term, this is my first term. First term is 39. So my T0 is this term here, that if I minus 2, I will get my 39. So what number would that be? 41 minus 2 will give me 39, and therefore for this particular question, this will be 41 plus negative 2n, and do simplify this final answer, so it will be 41. Do take note, when you add a negative number, this will become negative 2n, and that will be the general term for this number sequence. And the moment I know this, I gotten this, I would then be able to find any term including this, which is the number 18 term, simply by substituting. So for part B is pretty straightforward. All I have to do is to substitute n as 18. Okay, so this will be 41 minus 2 times 18, and that will give me a value of 5. With that, we have come to the end of this video. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are given the number sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All are even numbers, huh? And we are required to find the nth term for part A. So for part A, right, I will see if I can find any pattern, okay? So I will list the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 here. And let's see. For the first term, which is my T1. Oops. Sorry. I just wanted to. This is my first term. This is my second term, third term. Let's see if we can see any pattern, okay? Then 2, all are even numbers, right? That means all can have 2 as the factor. So I'm going to have 2 times 1. This will be 2 times 2, gives me 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. And from here, I hope you can see that the 2 is always repeated. And if it is 1, it will be 1. Second term is 2. Third term is 3. Fourth term is 4. Fifth term is 5. That means if I have Tn, do you realize that I would always, the pattern is that the 2 is always there? And I multiplied by, yes, n. And I've successfully gotten my n term. Okay. Now, for part B, how can then may we make use of the answer in part A to find the n term for the following sequence? Do you realize that for part 1, let me just write it down, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And for the number sequence that is given is 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. I saw something. I saw that for each term, right, in the sequence, we always add 1. And we already gotten that for each term in the number sequence in part A, it is 2n. Meaning that the n term is 2n. And therefore, all I have to do, I just need to add 1. And I will get the number sequence, the general term, for part 1. So the answer would be 2n plus 1. Done. Alright. So for B part 2, what is the observation that we can see from here? Let's see. So I'm going to just create a space at this side, B part 2. And let's see what we can do with how it changes from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 all the way, and the n term is 2n, to 4, 16, 36, 64, and 100. Because that will help us to find this n term that we have did it in part 1. Now, interestingly, there is a special pattern that involves the 2 sets of number. I hope you can see that when we square this number, we get 4. When we square this number, we get 16. When we square the number 6, meaning 6 times 6, 36. 8 times 8, 64. 10 times 10, 100. So what do you think we need to do to this number nth term? Yes, we just need to square it to give me 2 times 2, 2n times 2n, 2 times 2, 4, n times n square. And therefore, the answer for B part 2, the n term will be 4n square. Done. Okay. So let me create some space for my B part 3. And very interestingly, the number looks quite familiar to the one that we see in part 2. So for this particular question, I am going to look at B part 2. Okay, so this is the number sequence for B part 2. And I get 4n square. And the number sequence starts from 16. (36), 64, 100, 144. So now for this particular kind of question where you see something like this, yeah, that for each term, right, the sequence starts from the second term of part 2. Then when you see such question, all we have to do is that because all the term increased by 1, we discounted this particular term here. So all we have to do, right, for this particular question is that the n, this n, so you will see that Mr. Tan here will put a bracket. Still got the square outside. This n, Mr. Tan will deliberately add 1 to it. Because we start the sequence from the second term. Okay? And therefore, for this particular answer, it is simply 4n plus 1 bracket square, making use of the answer from B part 2. With that, we have come to the end of this video. So if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.